What is going on, ladies and gentlemen? Thank you so much for joining me today on this fabulous day. I hope you all are doing well today. I hope everyone is healthy, in a good, positive mood. Let's jump right into this because this is highly, highly requested. Today, we'll be reacting to 11 weird things about Australia. Here we go. I'm not wasting no time.
In this video, we're going to talk about the weirdest things I found in Australia that I had never seen before. Let's get started.
All right, here we go.
The first thing is separate toilets and no bidets. In Australia, many houses are usually designed with the toilets separate from the main bathroom. So basically you have a little room just for the toilet and then a bathroom where you wash your hands, you have the mirror.
Oh, wait. What? See, I was thinking about it like that at first, but I was like, nah, that wouldn't make sense. Wait, why is it split up like that? Is it like a sanitary thing? It gotta be like a sanitary thing. If not, why is it split up? Somebody explain.
Or the shower. And based on my research, historically, this was done for practical reasons, to allow one person to use the toilet while another uses the bathroom, etc.
I guess that do make sense. Imagine like your husband, your wife come in and they want to use the bathroom, but you got to take a shower. You got to go to work.
And another reason, of course, is hygiene and privacy. And again, this is something super surprising because in my country, I'm originally from Buenos Aires, Argentina, and in my country, separate toilets don't exist. So when I first came here, especially I was living in a share house, and yeah, I found it very interesting, but at the same time, again, very practical, especially if you're living in a house with a lot of people, perhaps a big family with children. You don't have to wait for your turn to use the toilet. You just can go and then...
That's Australia? That's what the home's looking like? Boy, if I move out there, it look like I already made it in life. That's what the home's looking like?
Another person can have a shower in the separate bathroom. And another thing in relation to this, in relation to bathrooms and toilets, and this is something that I had first seen in the US, and then when I came to Australia again, it surprised me because it's not usual here either. It's bidets, or we call them bidet. Yeah, that was another huge difference. In my country, Argentina, bidets are basically an essential part of the bathroom. And
oh. Yeah, what's up with that? Who got that in their bathroom? I know some toilets come with them like attached. I've heard a couple people like, a few of my homeboys back at school talk about, they used to brag about having these connected to their toilets. All right, I guess. I never had one. I mean, yeah, like, what's the point of having that next to the toilet? Like, it's really some like luxury, lavish style stuff for your home. Maybe for like a apartment condo, something real high class and elegant, If it's that deep, like, let's be honest, bro. If it's that deep to where you gotta use that, hop your behind in the shower. Hop your behind in the shower.
And in many European countries, this is the case as well. But yeah, in Australia, they don't exist. And I remember I was so surprised that I told my friends about it. And they were like, oh, that's disgusting. How come they don't have bidets? Then I told my
Aussie... They want you to hop your behind in that shower. You gonna put all the pain and wash your behind right there. You might as well just go ahead and wash up everywhere real quick.
Friends about the bidets, and they find disgusting the fact that we have bidets as well. So it's a very interesting cultural difference, and yeah, I don't know, it's something that caught my attention. The second thing that I found very weird is Vegemite. Aussies love their Vegemite, and again, this is one of the weirdest things that I've come across.
I'm just gonna have to try it.
And if you don't know what it is, this is a spread that is made of brewer's yeast extract, a byproduct of beer manufacturing, that you can put on a piece of toast, crackers, sandwiches, and I remember the first time that I tried veg.
I mean, that was a lot. You guys told me put a little amount. Maybe because I'm American, I'm just trying it. Are you guys spreading it all over your thing like that? That was, I mean,
it wasn't actually here in Australia, but it was 1 year before coming here. I was studying English with an Aussie teacher, and I remember that he brought Vegemite for me to try. And at the beginning, when I looked at it, I hadn't tried it yet. When I looked at it, I thought it was yummy because it reminded me of chocolate, right? Like if you see the color of Vegemite, it looks like Nutella. And then, of course, I gave it a try. He put it on a piece of toast. Basically, you have just to put a bit of butter, then a bit of Vegemite, and I tried it, and yeah, my face, it was basically lemon face. It was the weirdest thing that I had ever tried in my life. Now I like it. I don't eat it every day, but I do live with my Aussie.
Now you like it.
I don't eat it every day, but I do live with my Aussie partner and Vegemite.
She got an Aussie partner. So, he got her hooked on that Vegemite the right way. Yeah, like I was saying, if you got it spread mad crazy like that on the bread, you might not enjoy it, you know? Some people got different preferences. Maybe it was spread like that for her, and she was like, nah, this is too much. This isn't good. Plus, it had butter on it. It had the butter, too. You got to try it alone. You got to try it on different foods and stuff and see, you know? Give it a shot on different things. Don't just try it once and be like, not for me. Don't be like that, man. So I'm giving her props for real. You know, she actually tried it. It's my turn, man. Yeah, I'm not scared of nothing, though. What's the worst that's gonna happen? You don't like it?
It's an essential item in the house, in the fridge. And to give you an idea, it basically tastes very salty, kind of bitter as well. And an interesting fact as well is that Vegemite apparently was born in the 1920s in Melbourne. And
Salty?
It was an attempt to replicate the British Marmite, which I haven't tried. Please don't troll me, because when I read this interesting fact on my partner, he got very offended. So please don't blame it on me. This is on the internet. I don't know whether it is true or not. You can, leave a comment below and tell me what you think. Another thing that caught my attention when I first came.
I know that the UK has, they have Marmite. That's why when I heard that you guys had Vegemite, I was like, wait, this sounds really familiar to the UK. But I'm not going to sit here and say that one is a knockoff of the other, or like, oh, this is like the secondary brand, the other one. No, man, it's two separate countries. They got their own thing. Do they taste the same, though? We might have to do like a side-by-side comparison. Have any of you ever did that? I mean, Marmite versus what's it called? Vegemite?
Came to Australia is the fact that alcohol is sold separately. So you won't find alcohol in supermarkets. I remember the first time that I went to a supermarket to get a bottle of wine, and I spent at least 30 minutes going around just looking for the alcohol section, right? And I couldn't find it until I asked, and of course I realized that there was a bottle shop outside. Apparently this is a measure that they've taken to limit excessive alcohol drinking. As I've said in other videos, Australia is known for having a strong drinking culture, and that's why there are high taxes on alcohol, and also it seems
that's a meal and they got 4 drinks
that's the reason why they have separate bottle shops. Whereas in my country, in Argentina, as well as in many European countries, when you go to the supermarket, you'll always find the alcohol section right in there. We don't have separate bottle shops, so that's an interesting difference and something that now I've gotten used to it, but it's still a bit I don't know, weird. Again, another thing that caught my attention when I first came to Australia is the fact that Australians place stuff that they don't want on the street outside their home. And this practice is called hard rubbish collection. And most of these items are usually pieces of furniture or appliances that people put outside their homes for other people to come and pick them up, or for a truck to pick it up. So it's very interesting. And to be honest, many of these items are usually in really good shape. I know many people who basically make a living out of that. They go and collect, I don't know, a couch that perhaps is in good condition or just a bit dirty. They clean it up or they refurbish it, and then they sell it on Facebook Marketplace, and they made a lot of money. So
what you know about that marketplace?
Perhaps it's a good business idea if you want to explore that. Another thing that I found very surprising when I first came to Australia is the fact that there are very, very hefty fines for putting your feet on public transport seats. And these fines actually go up to 288 Australian dollars. It's insane. And of course, it makes sense, right? I don't think anywhere in the world it's polite or respectful to put your feet on the seat, right? On the public transport seat where other people are going.
What if you lay on the seats and you're taking up like 2-3 seats?
To say it's basic good manners. But I had never seen that they actually fine you for that, and such, again, hefty fines. So that's something that caught my attention. Housewarming parties. Now, I remember the first time that I was invited to a gathering here in Australia, and that was actually a housewarming party. And I remember when I got that invitation, I was a bit confused because I was like, what is a housewarming party? I had to Google it, right? And I'm sure that housewarming parties are very normal in many countries, but at least not in mine. So again, for me, this was weird. And if you don't know what a housewarming party is, let me explain very quickly. This is basically a tradition where you invite your friends to come see your new home. Basically, when you move to a new house, you have a gathering with drinks, finger food, etc., and you show your friends your new place. That's basically it. I feel that it's an excuse to just have a gathering and drink with your mates, and that's perfectly fine. I actually love housewarming parties, so much so that in my previous place, back in 2019 before the pandemic. I hosted a onesie housewarming party. We were 35 adults, all wearing onesies and having snacks, chatting, playing games. It was super fun, and since then I love housewarming parties. So it was a pleasant surprise. Okay, let's talk about the healthcare system and doctors in Australia, because this is something that as well, it really surprised me when I first came here. To be honest, I was a bit confused. Now, if you want to know about the healthcare system in Australia, I have a whole dedicated video about it. I think it's going to make your life easier. Now, in my country, in Argentina, and I know many European countries are exactly the same, when you have an ailment, when you're feeling sick, perhaps you have a tummy issue, you usually go to the specialist directly. You go to the gastroenterologist, right? That's the case in my country. Whereas here in Australia, your first point of contact is your GP, your general practitioner. Basically, a doctor that does general practice, and they're not a specialist, but they do everything. It's general medicine. And then perhaps they're going to give you a prescription, refer you for x-rays, etc. Now, if your tummy ache gets worse over time and the issue doesn't get resolved, then your GP is going to refer you to a specialist. But your first point of contact here in Australia is a GP. Another example, if you have to go to the gynecologist and have a pap smear, here in Australia, again, you go to your GP first. Whereas in my country, you usually go to the gynecologist first, and you're going to have your own gynecologist, your specialist, and you have all the tests. The gynecologist does everything for you. Whereas here in Australia, you are going to go to the GP or a nurse, perhaps, and they're going to do that for you. Something interesting. Again, a huge difference. Again, another thing that really surprised me when I first came to Australia was Australian football, or footy, or Aussie rules, or it has so many names, AFL. Anyway, I remember
Wait. That field what? The field is like a circle. I've never seen a field like that. I gotta see the full field. That field, come on, I gotta judge it. I mean, this is most of the field. I'm guessing it's a circle. AFL? Yo, I gotta get into that. We gotta check out a few AFL videos, man. Please recommend them in the comments. We gotta start checking this out. Check it out, the sports video.
Footy or Aussie rules, or it has so many names, AFL. Anyway, I remember the first time I was here, I got my apartment, I turned the TV on, and there was a footy match going on. For me, it was a big surprise. To be honest, at the time, I hadn't even heard about footy. It was a mix of rugby and soccer, but I wasn't really sure what was going on. It's basically neither. It's just a unique sport, very unique, again, to Australia. And Aussies love it, especially here in Melbourne. Most of my Australian colleagues as well, they're super fans of Collingwood, Richmond, Essendon. It's very interesting. I've been to 2 footy matches. What I really liked is the family environment. It's very family oriented. Rivals can sit next to each other. There's no aggression. Well, at least in my opinion, when I compare it to the Argentinian team, or when you compare it to England, they're much more, it's another kind of passion, if you want. But here in Australia, it's more family oriented, and that's something that, I really appreciate, and I do like. Another thing that surprised me about Australia is the fact that it's...
I like that. It's just a vibe, you know? I can sit next to, I guess, the I'm not even going to say enemy, the opposing side. Like, we both rooting for 2 different teams. At the end of the day, we're going to take these jerseys off and live our lives. We're going back to our normal lives, and we have nothing to do with these teams, man. They don't even know us. Why are we beefing? Let's have fun. You know, I meet your family, nice to meet you. You know, you meet mine, nice to meet y'all. Let's have fun and watch the game and vibe out. You know, but we are going to be a little competitive and have fun, joke around with each other. Yeah, we are going to, troll each other a little bit and have fun. Yeah, of course. You know, if you could take the humor. But at the end of the day, it's all love, man. We can't really do that out here. They taking things serious. It's what? Meet me outside the arena then. Meet me outside the arena. Oh, here we go. Here we go. It's always something.
Compulsory for school kids to always wear some protective hats outside. Of course, the reason for this is that Australia has some of the highest UV levels in the world.
I'm sorry. It just came to my head too. That's why they split people up. Like, they got like designated sides for the teams. This side and that side. It's your choice if you want to sit with the other people that are rooting for the other team. They literally have it split up. I don't know if they have that in your country. I just felt like I needed to say that, you know. I don't know if any other country has that, how we do, because, hey, this is America, baby. It goes down in the UA.
Of course, the reason for this is that Australia has some of the highest UV levels in the world. So it's a measure, again, that for me was surprising because when I was in school, I didn't have to wear a hat. It wasn't compulsory. But at the same time, yeah, it makes complete sense. So it's actually really, really good. And another thing in relation to the Australian school dress code, if you want, is the fact that school kids have to carry very big bags. So you see the little 7-year-old carrying a bag that it's almost bigger than them. And I don't know, it's weird. In my uneducated opinion, and I'm not a health professional, I'm not a chiropractor, so I'm not sure. But in my opinion, carrying a lot of weight at that age probably poses some kind of risk for the kid's posture. I'm not sure. You can leave a comment if you know more about this. Yeah. Growing up, in my case, all kids have the wheelie bags. We basically use that.
So what is with that? That's just like what is with that? So many countries use the little wheelie bags. You can stand up straight and keep your posture. You got that heavy behind book bag on. Not every kid knows to like fix the straps of the book bag and pull it down so that it can rise up like this, as if you're going camping and be tight. You know, not every kid knows that, you know. Sometimes that book bag is hanging down to their behind. Yes. And their backs is like this. Like this. You see that? That's crazy. That's bad. Unbelievable, man. This is so much better right here.
All this. Growing up, in my case, all kids have the wheelie bags. We basically use that. So yeah, that was another thing that I found weird, surprising. I don't know if it's good or bad, but it's interesting.
That's good. I like that.
Okay, another thing
that
I think it's weird, surprising, is the unique wildlife here in Australia. Of course, before coming here, you always hear about the kangaroos and the koalas, and these are very unique animals indeed. I don't think there are animals like these marsupials anywhere else in the world. But something that not many people know, and I include myself when I first came here, is that there are many more unique animals beyond the kangaroo and the koala. There are wallabies, quokkas, wombats. So every time I go hiking and every time I come across one of these animals, I found it very fascinating. It kind of tells you about the unique geography and diversity in Australia. I know that the quokkas are unique, for example, to Western Australia. So yeah, it's very interesting. And to be honest, even when I see a kangaroo or a wallaby, I still get very excited. Even again, after so many years of living here, yeah, it's fascinating and it's very, very unique. Another thing that really surprised me about Australia, and perhaps it shouldn't have, considering how important the beach lifestyle is for this country, is that they have a beach safety education program called NIPERS. This is basically a program where kids as young as 5 years old learn about beach safety and rescue techniques. So if you're at the beach at any coastal town in Australia, usually in the morning during weekends, you are probably going to come across all these kids being trained for the NIPERS program, basically being trained on life-saving techniques and, as I said, beach safety, etc. So yeah, it's something that
one of these kids might save your life one day. Hey, one of these kids might save your kids one day. Word up.
That I would have loved to be able to have when growing up. I find it amazing, and of course, again, this reflects the importance.
Now, is that like a program that's like, you know, taken out of everyone's taxes? That way you can fund and, you know, we can hold that program for the kids. How is this program about? Because, of course, the people got to get paid for teaching, demonstrating. We got to keep the kids safe, you know, training courses, the hours. You know, we need more lifeguards to watch as well as we do this course. You know, stuff like that, guys. We need a lot of instructors, you know, to take care of the kids, make sure they're good in the water, in and out of the water. Like, it's a lot. You know, you got to just fund it. It may not cost a lot of money to really just go to the beach and learn. But I feel like things like this, because you got to think about people's time. Nothing is free in the world. You got to think about people's time and stuff. And, like, this is educating the youth. So I feel like this would be a good way. Like, does it get taken out of the taxes if it's an ongoing thing? Or do people kind of just fund money towards it? Or is it something that's held for free? If so, then that's amazing, because it's a good way to just invest in the youth, whether it's free or not. It's the time. It's the time you're putting in. It's the time given to these children to learn these life-saving skills. You know, learning how to swim is life-saving enough for themselves, for real, let alone somebody else. It's just little things like that, teaching them how to breathe underwater, hold your breath for a certain amount of time. Don't panic when the waves is coming crazy. Like, just dive under, jump in. Like, it's a lot, man, especially in that water. But boy, How to play with that water.
Of knowing how to swim here in Australia, that's super important. That's the one skill that you do need to learn if you're seeking that beach lifestyle, I guess. So those are the things that I find
That is so unique. So the whole thing is salt water, I'm guessing, because ain't no point of having chlorine in there, right? What's the point of having... but that would be unsanitary. Because at the end of the day, salt water is getting in there. That's the ocean. So what, are they putting chlorine in there and it's mixed with like chlorine now and then the salt water? Or is it just strictly saltwater pool? It got to strictly be a saltwater pool, right? But that's really neat. I like that.
interesting, surprising, weird about Australia as a migrant. And yeah, let me know what's your opinion about them. If you have any surprising things that you've seen here, what do you think about these cultural differences? And if you want to watch similar videos about life in Australia, what it is like to live here, watch these videos here and here. And I'll see you next time.
This was an amazing video. Shout out to Living Simply Australia, man. Word up. This was a fabulous video. Living Simply Australia. She is at 108,000 subscribers. My goodness. I can't wait to get there one day, man. If you all enjoyed this fabulous video checking out 11 weird things about your beautiful country, Australia, please feel free to like, comment, subscribe, and turn all post notifications on. Feel free to educate me as well on any information that may have not been included in this wonderful video. Down below in the comment section, you guys know I'm open. I'm up to read all the comments and see what you guys are talking about in there, man. Everyone stay safe, and I hope to catch you all in the next reaction video.